Believe it or not, I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes look at some things. I'm going to be flying a little close to the sun here, hoping my wings don't melt because this is some big stuff happening with social media that a lot of people don't understand and don't really think about. There's a lot of Game of Thrones type stuff going on behind the scenes of social media and media companies in general. Pretty soon you're going to be hearing an awful lot of stuff, and all of it's really brought to you by Elon Musk shaking things up by buying Twitter. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. There's actually a lot of crazy stuff going on. Remember, you heard it here first. Listening to Joe Justice at Advantage Technology, we keep our finger on the pulse of these types of things. So what's going on? What's the big news? What's happening? You're going to see here coming up soon with Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter that he's going to be releasing some information, and you might see some things that you find a little shocking, and it's going to start to trickle out through the general media, but some of it's going to get squashed and some of it's going to get hidden because it has to do with what's going on behind the scenes of these big social media companies. So Twitter's a great example. You're going to find out that there's all kinds of stuff going on behind the scenes to keep things suppressed. Some of it is political, yes, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. It would be great to come to you and tell you, oh, there's all kinds of political stuff going on behind the scenes, but there's more to it. So just to kind of give you an idea, Facebook, for example, and this is all pretty well known in the industry, if you reach a certain level of audience, will begin squashing your organic views. Why is that? Well, they do that because you actually pay advertising rates to Facebook. So they don't want you to get a whole lot of organic views. They want you, once you reach a certain point, to begin paying for those views. And that's why you don't see things going viral anymore. And that's why I say it looks like there's a lot of political stuff going on. The political stuff is all sexy and it's really exciting and people like to talk about it, but it's way more complicated than that. There's all kinds of different things happening at the top of all of these different organizations. So let's talk about that just a little bit, and let's take a step back to where social media and the internet in general was. Let's go all the way back to Google, which is the search engine that most people are most familiar with, and they became famous because of their algorithm that was based on a rank order. And you might be familiar, you've probably heard the word algorithm. You've probably heard people say the algorithm likes this, the algorithm likes that, the algorithm does this. Well, let me just tell you right up front, nobody knows, except for the engineers at these organizations, what the algorithms are up to. What happens is the algorithms are put together. They're all black boxes. They have systems, programmed systems. Those are called algorithms. Algorithms are just programmed systems. Those algorithms decide what is shown to who and when. Google became the first really big, popular user of an algorithm that was really quite extraordinary with its rank order algorithm. And basically the rank order concept works like this. Whenever a certain object is referenced frequently, then that object must be a prime object. If you take an academic paper, if a whole bunch of other papers reference that one academic paper, then you can rest pretty well assured that that one academic paper is a standard academic paper and should be referenced and should be shown to everybody interested in that subject. They use that. That's called rank order, and it applies to all kinds of different situations. So say you're playing basketball. If you could record how often the basketball was passed to one player, you would be able to determine that one player, the one who the other team members all passed to, is the prime player, the best player on the team. And you can do that without any kind of stats or statistics or anything. You can do that just based on how often the other players pass to them. What Google did was it took all of the links, the sites that were frequently linked to, and then it used that to rank search results. So if you did a search for best angel food cake recipe, anytime there was a page that had angel food recipes referenced, whenever it was very popular and other sites linked to it, then it would put that at the top of the search. And that's the way algorithms started. So you had a very similar thing with Facebook. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of the early Instagram, their algorithm was based primarily on engagement. So if you interacted with a piece of content, then that would show that piece of content to people that were similar to you, and then it would go from there. That's how things would get spread virally, and that's how things would kind of blow up online. You notice that doesn't really happen anymore. Well, what happened was you would get some things that weren't quite what the engineers wanted, because maybe certain pieces of content became popular that they didn't want to become popular. So say there's maybe some racist content, sexual content, maybe there's some violent content that Google doesn't want to be associated with, Facebook doesn't want to be associated with. They want to limit that kind of stuff. So what they began to do was change the algorithms. Instead of being pure based on rank order or purely based on engagement or purely based on those types of metrics, what they ended up doing was, twisting and tweaking and messing things around a little bit. And then they would want to limit things so that they could monetize it more easily. And then yes, then you have the political influence. You have maybe the people at the top have a certain preference in political parties, or maybe the people at the top have a preference in certain candidates. And then you add on to that stuff going on geopolitically. So maybe in other countries, certain topics are not very popular. So let's just go ahead and knock those down. So over time, you get this kind of stagnant situation that we've actually been in for the last 5 or 6 years, I would say. And that's why you don't see things going viral anymore. That's why you don't see things picking up. Everything is based on this type of system that's been kind of stultified and squashed down, and limited and governed and reduced and reduced. Well, the big thing that's happened over the last couple of years has been the advent of TikTok. TikTok is straight up primarily using engagement once again. And everybody acts like they're confused as to why TikTok videos are so popular. They think, oh, it's because they're short. Oh, it's because they're funny. Oh, it's because it's dancing. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's because it's based on engagement once again. While all of the, I guess you could call them legacy social media platforms, all the kind of traditional ones that we think of like Facebook, YouTube, all those, while those are based on all of these kind of convoluted, complicated algorithms that nobody understands or really wants to work with, TikTok is based on engagement, so engagement just explodes. So things go viral on TikTok. Well, that's become a real existential threat to places like YouTube and Facebook, and you see that they're starting to come out with their own competition. And you'll see that their reels, if you start to produce reels on Facebook, shorts on YouTube, you'll see that they get the same type of organic growth that you used to see back in the early in the mid 2000s. And the primary reason for that is because they're based on engagement once again. Facebook just recently announced they lost a lot of money because their revenues have been dropping. People are abandoning the platform. YouTube is having similar problems. YouTube's always had difficulty with actually making money because it's such an expensive operation, and they have shifted their focus back and forth from producing content to user-generated content, more of a social media platform to less of a social media platform, more of a streaming platform. They've tried to be Netflix. They've tried to produce original content. It's real strange. They can't seem to figure out what they're doing. They can't decide on anything. You might remember one of the most popular shows on television right now is Cobra Kai. That actually started as a YouTube-produced show for they had a special subscription model that they wanted to compete with Netflix. And they actually created the show Cobra Kai for that purpose. So things have been changing dramatically and changing quickly. What's the upside of all of it? Well, with Elon Musk taking over, remember, he just took over on Friday. So that's not that long ago. And he's going to be releasing stuff, and it's going to start to appear to people. People are going to start to realize there's something going on here. There's been a lot of manipulation. It's not like it used to be. There's going to be more transparency. Facebook and Google, which Alphabet, which is also YouTube, they're going to start noticing this stuff. And Meta, of course, is the parent company of Facebook and Instagram. They're going to start noticing all this stuff. They're going to start reintroducing engagement and all these other tools. What does this mean to you? The upside, the exciting part about all of this is I really think that at least the next 6 months, we're going to start seeing the return of traditional social media, what it used to be back in the early days, which was user-generated viral content that people would engage with and be excited with, not this kind of stultified, limited distribution stuff that we've had for the last several years. If you talk to anybody that manages social media, it has been very difficult to get things to go out there, to get things to be spread, to get things to, be available to people. So we're going to start seeing that change. That's what I think. So I think now is a prime time to really start re-engaging your audience in social media. If you're not involved with social media right now, then now's the time to get into it. If you used to be really big into social media 5-6 years ago and you've kind of let it fall off, now's a good time to get back into it. I think it's going to be an exciting time, and I think we're going to see a lot of changes coming forward. So if you like this video, if you found it helpful, I would ask you to please help spread it to other people just like you by liking, commenting, sharing, follow us, subscribe to us, do all of the stuff. Let the algorithm know that you like this stuff so you can start seeing more just like it, and so that people like you can see it as well. Thank you so much for watching.